talking unless y'all giving me land and 2,000 or more every week. You hear me?
I'm not talking unless y'all giving me likes, commenting, and subscribing. You hear me? Okay. Well, hey, B, it's JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, I wanted to come back to give you guys an update on Caleb Wilson. It appears that they do have another suspect in custody, and they are still waiting on another. I want us to get into a news report, and then we'll also talk about Wendy Williams as well and the latest updates with her. But first off, we're going to start off with Caleb Wilson. All right. And again, I have to I know it's a lot of people that do not know, although a lot of times we think everybody knows what's going on. They don't. All right. Caleb Wilson, unfortunately, passed away a few weeks ago during a off-campus hazing incident that took place with Omega Psi Phi. All right, Fraternity Incorporated. They have now arrested one guy by the name of Caleb McCrae. He was arrested, charged with, I do believe, manslaughter and criminal hazing. He was also released because he was bonded out on $100,000. So we'll see what's going to be his fate at a later time. At this time, the officials are continuing to grab information, as much information as they can. And now they have two additional suspects. One of the two are wanted by the Baton Rouge police because they now have one of the guys in custody. All right. They go on to let us know that the police said that Kyle Thurman, let me go ahead and get Kyle's image up here. This is Kyle Thurman, and they're saying that Kyle Thurman was picked up with the help of the U.S. Marshals around 3:34 p.m. from a home in Port Allen. Sources said that Thurman was supposed to turn himself in over the weekend, and when he missed the deadline, law enforcement went looking for him. I was wondering, why does he have this jail outfit on in comparison to what Caleb McCrae had on? It looks like he had on some type of black sweatsuit of some sort. And it's because Caleb turned himself in, whereas Kyle did not do that. All right. They're saying a third suspect, Isaiah Smith, is still wanted. They're saying their sources said Smith is the son of Todd Smith. All right. That is the person who leased the warehouse where the hazing occurred. Now, they're saying Smith told WAFB last week that his son is a member of Omega Psi Phi, that same fraternity as the other two men who've been arrested, which Caleb Wilson was also pledging. They go on to say Smith said that his son is also still an active student at the university. Now, I'm not sure what the status is on Isaiah and whether he is a graduate at this time or if he is also an undergraduate student, but they have went ahead and they've gotten Isaiah. And now, I'm wondering if Todd Smith knew what his son was over there doing. Now, I don't know if Todd Smith is a member of Omega Psi Phi. I do know, I think they may have said that he could be, or at least I've heard people say that he could be. So were you aware? And here's the thing, you could be aware of him being in, of course, your son is a part of Omega Psi Phi. You could be too. And you may be aware that they take some of the pledges over there. But did you know that somebody passed away on your son's watch is what I'm wondering. Okay, and why you didn't encourage him to turn his damn self in. But anywho, let's keep going. So they're saying on Friday, Baton Rouge police held a news conference where it was announced those individuals were facing misdemeanor hazing charges. So it appears that these guys are only going to get misdemeanor criminal hazing charges, whereas it looks like Caleb, who was the person to strike the last 4 blows to Caleb Wilson, Caleb McCrae is facing manslaughter charges, which from what I looked up, that could be inaccurate, but from what I looked up, it looks like it carries up to like 40 years in prison. And I don't know how that's going to work out in the courts. They may give him something shorter. Maybe it'll be up to 15 years or something, up to 20. We shall see how that's going to play out for that young man. But they go on to say their sources tells them those suspects were at a warehouse in the Baton Rouge area the night that Caleb died and punched some of the pledges. So these guys also punched. These guys also punched is what they're saying, but they weren't the ones to hit Caleb with the final blows. All right. They go on to say arrest records released Friday are painting a clear picture of what transpired. The documents show that the fraternity members were in no rush to get Southern University student Caleb Wilson medical attention when minutes mattered 2 weeks ago. Though Wilson collapsed and fell unresponsive after receiving a blow to the chest as part of a hazing ritual, a document showed that members of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity chapter, for which Wilson was pledging, had time to change his clothes before dropping him off at the hospital. It's raising questions about the timeline of events that night Caleb died, as well as whether there should be punishments if investigators can prove that there was a delay in seeking care. All right, our sources said Wilson never regained consciousness after he collapsed, and the fraternity members changed him and brought him to the hospital in a vehicle, all while he was unresponsive. Whew. Y'all should have just called 911 and got the ambulance there much faster. But I know y'all panicked because y'all got scared, spooked, nervous, and didn't want to get in no trouble, only to end up in the trouble that you were afraid to get in anyway. Come on now. Wow. They go on to say arrest documents for Caleb McRae revealed that a witness saw Wilson being hit multiple times in the chest before appearing to have a seizure on the floor. So y'all saw this baby having a seizure on the floor, and y'all motherfuckers turned around and changed his damn clothes to get him to the hospital the whole time. The boy was unresponsive when all y'all had to do was just call 911. Child, according to those documents, fraternity leadership then moved other pledges who were also allegedly being rough housed along with Wilson to another room. Investigators noted that the witness said that all of the pledges all of the pledges present for the ritual, including Wilson, were wearing gray sweatsuits at the time of the alleged beating. Now, according to the warrant, however, Wilson was later dropped off at the hospital by members of the fraternity wearing only black sweatpants and white socks, meaning his clothes were changed before his arrival. Now, McRae is facing most serious charges tied to Caleb, and they're saying is criminal hazing as well as manslaughter. All right, so they have confirmed that both of those charges are indeed felonies. McRae's bond, as I told you guys, was set at $100,000. All right, but let us get into this news report to see if there are any additional details that they did not list here in the article. So let's check this out.
Thanks for being here, friends. I'm Elizabeth Valla. My partner Greg is on assignment. We start with breaking developments from the WAFB I-team. Over the past 2 hours, a second suspect wanted for the hazing death of Southern student Caleb Wilson has been captured with the help of the Middle Louisiana Fugitive Task Force. Kyle Thurman was taken into custody around 3:30 this afternoon at his home in Port Allen. Our sources say he had a deadline to turn himself in over the weekend, and when he did not show, investigators went looking for him today. Meanwhile, when minutes mattered, arrest documents show fraternity members appear to be in no rush to get help for Southern student Caleb Wilson the night he collapsed after being hit in the chest. Documents show they took time to change his clothes before dropping him off at the hospital. Those details are raising new questions about the timeline of events the night he died. It comes as funeral arrangements have finally been made to remember his young life. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, is here now with more on what he's learned today. And Chris, it is a lot.
Good evening, Liz. 3 individuals are all facing felony hazing charges. A second suspect, as you just said, Kyle Thurman, is in custody tonight in connection with Wilson's death. The East Baton Rouge Parish Coroner's Office confirmed to WAFB today Wilson's body was released to a funeral home late last week, but tonight the cause and manner of death is still pending further testing. This is exclusive video of 23-year-old Caleb McRae walking out of the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail late Friday night. It happened hours after Commissioner Keena Kimball set his bond at $100,000. McRae is charged with the most serious charges tied to the death of Caleb Wilson: criminal hazing and manslaughter, both felonies. Now we've learned frat members from Omega Psi Phi who were gathered at this white warehouse where pledges were taking blows to the chest with boxing gloves appeared to be in no rush to get Wilson medical assistance at the hospital.
Don't have exact timeline that we're ready to release as far as when Caleb first collapsed at this warehouse and then when he arrived at the hospital.
The exact events and how they transpired inside are still murky, but we have a clearer picture of the delay in seeking help for Wilson from arrest documents. Warrants show after Caleb collapsed, the pledges moved to a separate room where leadership attended to Wilson. Wilson was later loaded into a vehicle and transported to BRG Bluebonnet, where he was pronounced dead by medical personnel. It should be noted that Wilson's clothing was changed prior to his arrival at the hospital. It was around 2:40 in the morning when uniformed officers were dispatched to the hospital, where staff advised investigators that males who dropped him off said he collapsed at a Breck Park. That lie unraveled, as the I-Team reported last week. They were never at a park for that unsanctioned hazing ritual and were inside this warehouse instead. Sources say once Wilson collapsed inside the warehouse, he never regained consciousness. Clothes were changed and he was driven to the hospital, all while he was unresponsive. Tonight we've learned, in addition to the charges McCray faces, 2 other individuals are also facing felony criminal hazing charges.
And as we said, Thurman was arrested in Port Allen with the help of U.S. Marshal's Office. One other individual, Isaiah Smith, is supposed to turn himself in tomorrow. Smith is the son of Todd Smith, who leased the warehouse where the hazing happened. Southern says all 3 suspects are current students. For the WAFB team, I'm Chris Nakamoto. Liz?
All right, just such a tough story all the way around, Chris. Thank you. So funeral arrangements have now been set for Caleb Wilson. Friday, Southern University will have a visitation and a candlelight vigil. Times will be announced a little later. A funeral service will follow Saturday in Kinner at Pilgrim Baptist Church. That will happen at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
We're following some breaking news.
Wow, I'm so sorry that happened to him. Like, child. So whoever this other young man is, Isaiah, baby, you might want to get your on up, honey, and get on down there and turn yourself in. Okay? Go on, get up and go on down there and accept your charges like those boys was standing in that line accepting them punches, honey. Okay, so go on, get down there real quick and do what you're supposed to do, Mr. Isaiah Smith, honey. And I hope there ain't nobody protecting you. I'm wondering if the family could potentially be trying to secure him an attorney before he goes and enters into police custody for the time being. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know what's taking you so long. You know who you are, and don't act like they can't find you. And this should spook you enough to see that your friend Todd, what's his name, Kyle Thurman or whatever, then got himself snatched up. So just know it ain't gonna be long before they come snatch you up. So you come out better, baby. I know you spooked and you nervous, but somebody not here no more. He can't even have no feelings no more because he's completely gone. So get your ass up and go get down there to that police station and turn yourself in. Hurry up, okay? So that's all we got at this time on Caleb at this time, but I do want us to go on and I want us to get into Wendy Williams real quick, because Wendy Williams, y'all know she has been under this conservatorship for a very long time. We have talked about it over here a number of times on the channel. She is trying to actively get out of this guardianship, technically, okay? It's called a guardianship, but they damn near the same thing, right? But she's trying to get out of it so much so that she was able to take some type of psych evaluation. And it appears that, they were saying that she did really well with this psych evaluation. Now, she was taken by ambulance to a hospital facility where she was seated with someone, and they asked her a few questions from my understanding. And they're also saying that Wendy ended up like acing that. They said Wendy pretty much aced that exam. But I do want us to check out a bit of a news story first, and then we'll get into some of the details. I guess TMZ is reporting on Wendy acing that test. Okay, so we'll get into that in just a second. But they're saying Wendy Williams was taken by ambulance from an assisted living facility. Y'all know the one she calls like a luxury prison. That is where they said that she was at. Police responded to the assisted living facility in Hudson Yards after the fire department was called for a wellness check. They go on to say 2 NYPD officers and a sergeant responded to the assisted living facility in response to a 911 call about a woman in distress. Hold on, now wait a minute. Now, this might be a little something different here. Hold on. So they're saying the episode is being treated as a standard call for service and there is no ongoing NYPD. Okay, so it's a standard call for service. Okay. When they arrived, Williams was calm. She was not restrained and was able to go into the ambulance on her own. All right. They're saying nearly a month ago, Williams opened up about her fight for her freedom from years long court-ordered guardianship in a phone interview. All right. The media personality and former talk show host who has been in a court order guardianship since 2022 described where she was living for the past few years and how she's been feeling about that. All right. But I do want us to just get into a snippet of this news report here. Just a quick snippet of it. Not all of it, but we're going to check out some.
It was the interview that no one expected or saw coming.
Wendy Williams on the line. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning.
Shocking the airwaves.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
From the star who'd been out of the public eye for years, Wendy Williams, the one-time self-proclaimed queen of all media, known for her signature catchphrase.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Wendy resurfacing calling longtime friend Charlamagne the God's radio show, pleading for her freedom.
I am not cognitively impaired, you know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying?
And breaking her silence on The Breakfast Club 2 years after her dementia diagnosis. Speaking out about her life now inside a healthcare facility, living under a court-appointed guardianship.
This is Byron Pitts. It's been a while since we've spoken.
A few weeks after that stunning first interview with Charlamagne, I spoke briefly with Wendy on the phone.
How are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm still in prison, so to speak.
Can you describe where you are right now?
Yes. Well, as I've said, because it's a fact, this is the memory unit. That's what this floor is called, the memory unit. And it is true that these people who live here don't remember anything. Some of them are in their 60s, some of them are in their 80s, some are... look, I don't belong here at all. This is ridiculous.
Are you able in this facility to move about, to leave when you want to leave your room when you want to?
Well, I leave my room to order lunch. Everything is on this floor. And by the way, I have everything right here in the bedroom because, you know, these people that live here, you know, they're nice people, but that's not my cup of tea at all. And it's really expensive where I am. $18,000 a month out of my money.
Wendy telling me she doesn't have control over her day-to-day life.
It seems like she's been pretty open that it's a locked unit, so certainly that could be consistent with a memory care unit for more severe cases of dementia.
You can call my phone whenever.
The last time the public heard anything from Wendy was a year ago in Lifetime's Where's Wendy Williams?
My real name is Wendy Hunter.
Hunter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people saw the documentary that certainly was unflattering, but it looked a lot like addiction for anyone that knows folks that are addicted to alcohol and drugs.
Wendy's allegations sparking online fury and concern from her fans.
Free Wendy. Free Wendy. Free Wendy Williams.
But Wendy's official diagnosis, similar to the one that forced Bruce Willis to step away from Hollywood for good.
As the disease progresses, people tend to have both language and behavior symptoms, and then ultimately in the later stages, they will develop memory problems as well.
Do you think you have dementia?
No. That's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. Frontal temporal dementia. How dare you? And I'm not saying you, because I've been accused of having that. And how do you prove it? By keeping me locked here. So that I can't see. Look, I can't go out. You have to have keys to open the door, to hit the elevator to go downstairs. Keys. I'm telling you, this is like being in prison.
Those who know Wendy personally.
All right, so you guys have heard some of what all was going on with Wendy, but she did leave. That's the reason those officers did come. They came and did the full protocol, taking her like they were doing a wellness check, all of that, checking out the facility. escorted her onto the ambulance. She went on over to the hospital where she did her evaluation or whatnot. And according to TMZ, which is this is really interesting to me because they're saying she aced it, right? So Wendy Williams may be a big step closer to freedom because a psychiatrist examined her Monday, and the results are clear. Wendy's mental capacity is fully intact. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ that Wendy scored 10 out of 10 on a psych exam called a capacity test. She was asked 10 questions to determine if she was alert and oriented, and she answered every one correctly. TMZ broke the story. Wendy went to the Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City Monday, where the psychiatrist spent time with her. Now, I don't know if this was someone that was selected for her to go to by way of the judge. I hope so. Okay, I don't think, well, hell, Wendy ain't got no control over her own life, so I'm sure she didn't choose who she could go to, right? So they're saying the results of the test are radically different from an assessment of the guardian, who has filed legal documents saying her condition is getting worse, not better. Listen, I'm telling y'all, the woman for me, Sabrina Maurici, and that's my opinion, is a fraud in my personal. Wendy was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a diagnosis she disputes. Her son felt like she had a alcohol-induced dementia. Now, I could see that, all right, because of the alcohol, the way she was slurring. That lady probably was drunk a lot, okay, when she was filming the damn documentary, because clearly they allowed her to have all kind of alcohol and stuff around her. So now that she ain't getting that type of stuff and she's restricted, just like when Kevin and the family had Wendy, she was restricted from doing that type of stuff. She was getting better, right? So I don't know. But this is what they putting out here. I don't know who diagnosed her with this, but that's what the legal guardian said. They said a diagnosis that she disputes. She was not examined Monday to determine if she has been misdiagnosed. Okay, so they did not find out whether she was misdiagnosed on that. They're just saying that she did a good job at her capacity test, where she seems to be doing okay. So they're saying that they were told the results of the capacity test will be forwarded to the judge in the guardianship case. They, pretty much talked about NYPD paying her a visit or whatnot, and, taking her on over to where she needs to go. But that's just really, really interesting, because if they find out that Wendy does not have the dementia in which the guardian says, okay, Spidey, listen, the antennas are ringing. If they find out, because see, right now, for her to do this capacity test, and then for you as a guardian to say that this lady is incapacitated, and it's showing the opposite when she goes and do this test, yikey dikey. And what I also noticed was, like, in earlier interviews that Wendy has done, whether it was with Jason Lee, whether it was with The Breakfast Club and others earlier on, she was like, I feel frantic, excited, like trying to get her words out and stuff like that she may trip over her words. But now I'm noticing the more she does her interviews, the more calm and relaxed that she's getting, because the guardian is mistaking the things that, and I think one of the judges has been mistaking the things that she says. Like when she's like, you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us say that. A lot of us have our things that we do all the time. Like I feel like my thing may be okay. You know what I'm saying? The word's okay or whatever. So everybody has their thing that they do, and that's just Wendy's thing, and they feel like because she does that so much that maybe something's wrong with her. So I'm noticing that she's trying to like slow down and make sure that she articulates herself when she's doing these interviews, so people know that she is just fine and she is okay. And at the end of the day, if something were wrong with me like that, then y'all shouldn't be in charge of it, because I feel like y'all are abusing me pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Or at least abusing my accounts. So that's what's going on with Wendy. Hopefully Wendy gets what she's seeking, which is freedom. Very soon. I feel like these judges are all in cahoots with some of these attorneys and guardians, that you can present all of the evidence that you need to present and they ain't gonna care, and they still gonna keep you in bondage just a piece. Okay, I think the best thing for Wendy is having individuals, fans, and the public talking about it, getting more conversation about it, because don't nobody want no flashlight shown on what it is that they over there doing, for real. So they gotta be mindful. So I mean, she could definitely get out of it soon, but you just just never know. All right. But I just wanted to come and give you guys updates on what's going on with Wendy Williams as well as Caleb Wilson's story. You guys can go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments down below about everything that we just talked about. All right. I am Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JamiThatsMe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like ACES. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can feel it.